October 9th, City Council meeting to order. Roll call. Gloria? Tootie?
Here.
Larry?
Yes.
Tyler?
Here.
Warren?
Here.
Randy?
Here.
Also present. Kevin? Jeff? Rachel? Roz? Joyce? Bob? Chuck? Judd? Mandy? And our attorney Sarah. Did you have a chance to look over our agenda for this meeting, council?
I'll approve with flexibility.
Motion by Larry to approve the agenda with flexibility. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tyler. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now our minutes, we have minutes from the last two special meetings and our last month's meeting.
I'll look back at the minutes that Janet did and everybody else did. Have a second on it. Following Robert's rules of order. Yes, but you can have both licenses. And I bet you it was consensus for sure. Yeah.
When you get up and run out the door, good sign. Deletions, some that we haven't got quite right in the minutes.
I make a motion to approve all of them for 3 meetings.
All three?
Motion by Randy to approve
Second.
all 3 meeting minutes. There's no discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Do you want me to sign these or yours? Doesn't matter? Huh?
No.
Okay. Finance officer's report.
I move we approve.
Motion by Larry to approve the finance officer's report. Any discussion? If not, I need a second.
I'll second.
Second by Tyler. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Claims for October.
Move to approve the claims.
Second.
Motion by Randy, second by Larry to approve the claims, right? I lost my page. Okay, lagoon payment this month of 700 and,
Are we gonna vote on that?
oh, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Pay the bills. You guys keep me on track. I'm getting old. All right. Lagoon payment of $703.
I motion to pay the legal payment.
Motion by Warren to pay the lagoon payment,
Second.
William?
I'll second.
second by Tyler. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now, water tower and project payments this month of $15,403.25.
I just have a question. What are project fees?
It's the water project.
The water project?
Wasn't they fix the water
I'll move.
main down on the north side of town?
By Tooties. Okay, motion
Second.
by Larry to approve this payment. Second by Gloria. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now, we got to transfer $20,000 for our golf water from the BBB to the general fund.
This is part of the budget. That we always do.
And we'll do these.
That much.
Motion by Tootie. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tyler. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. That will get transferred. Now, $22,000 from capital street improvement to the general fund.
Again, part of the budget.
What?
Part of the budget that we did last year.
I'm motion to approve the 22,000 from capital street improvement to the general fund.
Motion by Warren. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tootie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now I'm going to open it up now for public comment. Chuck?
I got a couple of things. What is going on with beautification?
I don't understand your question.
Well, you tore all the houses down for beautification, right?
Well,
For in taxes, okay? What about curb and gutter? Have you done anything? Anybody done a feasibility study on curb and gutter?
the people I talk to don't really want to come up with curb gutter because of the price of concrete.
Well, is it because of property taxes? You know, if you're on a corner lot, you gotta pay
You double. That's
double.
what I had to do, but I only have curb and gutter in because when senior housing wanted curb and gutter, I had to put it in.
Yeah, because that's your project. That's your property though.
I
Right.
know. But
I mean,
I didn't put it down the escrow. Couldn't afford it.
okay, another thing is the street lights. Our street lighting is terrible, poor.
You mentioned this to me in private once before, and you said there's a street light needed on the corner of the Sportsman's Lanes, and one on your street, I believe.
Yeah, but you drive down State Street or you drive by the park. I almost run into a couple kids coming out from a football game because they were walking along the road there. And I got kids that play on the corner of my block that you can't see them out there playing at night.
Yeah.
We can light up alleys better than we can the streets.
Okay.
That's the truth. We'll go
Yeah,
drive around at night and see.
I do drive around at
I
night.
only see two council people out at night that go to anything that can see how dark it is.
Council, do you have a comment or reply? If not, we'll move on. Joyce?
I guess my comment is the trees, a lot of the trees are hanging over the lights. And that's another problem is, that's why they're so dim, is there's trees hanging everywhere.
Okay,
Well, I had that issue at my house, that big walnut tree and that, and Paul asked my permission and that to trim the tree, and that, and the city did it.
There's just.
And I didn't have any problem with it,
Mhm.
you know.
any other public comment? Rachel?
I didn't get to Dean soon enough, but anyway, I just have one in consideration still for ourselves in getting this housework done. We have contacted, we've gotten a hold of somebody about finishing up the roofing on the house, and then we are talking to, this family also about the, not, group of women that are going to put siding on it, the house. But it, as of August, is when I talked to you, and you told me that we're gonna have to bring it back to the council. I came last week, and I didn't say anything. I just need to know, that, you know, he gave us 1, 2, 3 for, completion, and some of that was to be done in that period of time.
Council?
If there isn't really any corrective things, like if he hasn't made a judgment towards the hazard,
No.
so I don't think there'd be anything that we could stand and talk
I will be coming back. I mean, I've been here, this is my 4th month. But I mean, I just need to have some reassurance that I'm being heard.
Well, you're being heard.
Oh, I know, I've been told that they think I'm an old lady too, so, you know, so maybe I am. But let me tell you, I'm coming back.
Okay? Like Warren said, until something happens, free to carry on.
Well, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so,
Okay,
thank you.
any other comments? If not, we're gonna move on to Mr. Cisco. Jeff, you have the floor.
Thank you. So I gave Gene the adoption resolution for the natural hazard mitigation plan. We've been working on this since late last month.
Yeah.
Several meetings. It was out for public comment. Anyway, it was finally accepted by FEMA. And so that being done, all I need is for this board to adopt that resolution. And then that resolution and the county's resolution to adopt it, which they've already done. Once I have those, I send those to Buck Hills Council, who wrote the plan, and then we're all good to go. So that'll be your seeking your approval or your whatever, how you wish to handle the resolution for adoption.
A motion to adopt resolution 2024-11.
Motion by Warren, second by Gloria. Any discussion, questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We'll adopt that hazard mitigation resolution.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, Roz, Community Thrift Store, you have the floor.
I excuse me, came to the council because so many people have come to me and they said, Roz, can't you do something for the things we don't need in our home? I take my things to Cornerstone Mission in Rapid or to the Boys Club. They turn around and sell it. Can't we do something to keep the money here? In my wisdom, and I say very fluently, I developed a program that I thought the school would love to have, where they would open up a thrift store, similar to the grocery store that Cody has done. It is run by the students. Well, my husband said, Roz, are you aware that the school system has new administrative personnel? They don't have time to worry about your thrift store. So I backed up. I said, okay, fine, I will do it. I feel that with what has happened in our community, with losing the program that Mary Thompson had for 43 years, which included a thrift store, extremely popular, losing our nursing home, hospital administrator gets fired, and then the issues with the school. Our community is hurting. We need to come back together to work for something. What better than to work for a thrift store? My plan for the thrift store, it is strictly volunteer. Nobody working at the thrift store gets penny. I went to the Badlands RC&D, and they have agreed to allow our thrift store to go under their 501c3. Then I bet I called maybe, I would say 10 or 12 people regarding buildings. You can have a thrift store, but you gotta have a building over you. To me, Taters would have been perfect, but the floor has fallen in. Wayne Fuchs's folks' house, the floor has fallen in. I called Kelvin McCollum to see about the old E&E back in my day, and he said, Roz, that's my warehouse. I have called, I even talked to Jay Yoner, and he called Paul Slattery to see about the possibility of using the old Gandals. Paul said, well, sure you can, but that would cost you $850 a month. No, this is not my plan. So as it transpired, I even talked to somebody who said that Rick Ziegler, back in the day, had a super cool man cave back there by senior citizens. I talked to Mary, and she said, Roz, Amber owns that. Mary got me a phone number. I talked to Amber's mom. She said she would talk to Amber. And in the it didn't work either. So I went to the Legion to ask them if they would support this project and allow us to do a thrift store in the Boy Scout building. And that they agreed to that. Now, starting off, we have no money. I mean, zero money at this point. On Tuesday and Wednesday last week, Tana, Ireland, Buddy, and I went to the South Dakota Department of Health workshop that was held in Mitchell that is primarily for grant writing, with the idea that maybe we could get a grant to get a building. Well, the workshop was fantastic, and on the outside, or outside of the meeting rooms, is all of these different organizations, South Dakota Foundation. I mean, gobs of organizations to give out grants. I went up, in my lack of understanding, asked one of the grant writers, well, could you write a grant for us so we could get a building, because we don't have a building. Excuse me, ma'am, you need sustainability. You will not find somebody that's going to give you money if they don't know your program will work. Well, it worked for 43 years in the past, but we don't know for now. So, okay, we'll just open our thrift store in the Boy Scout building. I am coming to the city. Oh, the main purpose of our thrift store is that any profits will go for scholarships for the students who are not in the top 25%.
Who's going to pick the scholarships?
We don't have a store yet. We haven't got to the scholarship stage. We don't have a penny to even give yet, you know. But I won the first Legion scholarship that was given out back in my day. And I don't know that I'd have gone to college if I wouldn't have had somebody helping me. So I think we have many students that if we can show that we will help, we are going to provide maybe some money that you can go learn and do something. We don't care what, but learn to be a self-sufficient adult. Okay, so we had our first meeting Monday night of this week, or Monday morning of this week. There were 18 other ladies there besides myself, which I thought was extremely remarkable if you're just looking for volunteers. At the meeting, we have decided that we will let the community name our thrift store. We're not going to do it. We wanted this to be a community program that is willing to help the kids. I know last week's paper, It came out about the senior citizens, or the meals program being cut and everything. We may use some of our profits for that also. At the meeting, Cindy Connect had brought some of the JAG students to the meeting. The JAG students are going to step up and take care of publicity for us. I don't know how many of you saw the poster. Now, we met on Monday. This is what the JAG kids have already done. When we worked community action, any child that came in left our building with some books. We allowed them to pick out the books with the idea that, well, maybe they'll read them and enjoy them when they go home. Well, the JAG kids, and I'll leave this for people to look at, the JAG kids have gone ahead and stepped up to the plate and said, put out these posters to bring your books for the thrift store. They have also made posters to encourage people to send in information that you want to call, what you want our name to be. I will be giving $25 of Martin bucks to whomever gets their name chosen. We're going to allow the team to decide. This is not my program. We are a community team. I have, and I apologize, I didn't realize how many were on council, but I have a couple of pages of our agenda just to let you see what our plans are. Now, at our thrift store, we are accepting anything but clothes. We will not do clothes and shoes. We will do coats and gloves and hats in the wintertime, but not clothes. Clothes didn't go when Mary had her program, and they take up too much space. Space at the Boy Scout building is extremely short. Already I have had 3 ladies that have brought in stuff for donations. Anything that is donated to the store will be turned around and sold. My reason in coming to the city council, I want to know, would you be willing to pay for our water, our sewer, and our garbage? With the office, we will only be open 12:30 to 3:30, Monday through Friday. Monday through Thursday, covered strictly by volunteers. On Friday, the store will be opened by students, giving them an opportunity to learn retail, giving them an opportunity to learn how to address somebody who comes to your store, to encourage them. But I have no money. I don't anticipate a large water bill. We're only going to be open the 3 hours a day. But I wondered if the city would.
So all you're asking is for the water bill?
Water and sewer and garbage.
And garbage, that's it? I'll make that motion right now.
That's all you're asking for, but would it be a benefit to donate
I
like
totally think
500
so.
or something?
Cause it was a busy program.
Donate some money, like $500 or $1,000, that's what I'm thinking, to just help it get started, because that's $0.
That would be
Well, I think so as
shockingly
well.
wonderful.
That's my thought on it. I mean, water, sewer, and trash is like $80 a month. I mean, stuff.
And now
I mean, tops 80. I mean,
Yeah.
if they were using a lot of water or
Comes to
something.
my place, it's way more than that.
but
Won't rain.
excuse me, I looked down the street, behind the city office is a big dumpster. Could we not have access to that?
Yeah.
I was told this morning that if the city finds out that you're dumping in their dumpster, you get fined.
Oh, no.
So,
There's one by the shop too.
well, there's one, I'm gonna say it's a half a block from where the Boy Scout building is.
Yeah, and you could probably use that.
just use that.
Yeah.
See, I don't anticipate, it's, when Mary had her program, she got the pallets of stuff. I mean, there was gobs of cardboard, you know, we aren't gonna have that. We're just having whatever people bring in. Now, be aware that due to the fact that the Boy Scout building is so small, what our plans are is to put up a bulletin board that the JAG kids are gonna design. And on this bulletin board, let's say Tyler says, Ross, I got this bed I can't use. I will let you take it at your store. We take a picture of the bed, we put it up on the poster. Somebody comes, Gloria comes in, oh, Ross, I could use that bed. Okay, you pay me for the bed. She pays me for the bed. I give her a card that has Tyler's name and number only. Doesn't say where it lives or anything. So Gloria has to contact Tyler, go pick up the bed. Well, Gloria goes picks up the bed, or Tyler's picking up the bed, one of them, and they don't like the bed. They come back to the thrift store, we give you your money back. We put the bed picture back up on the wall. Now, let's say that somebody comes in, purchases a picture from the wall, and they have 5 days to pick it up. If you don't pick it up in 5 days, that profit stays with us and goes to scholarships. That's kind of what we have worked as a team.
I have 2 questions.
Okay,
How much room is the 4-H club that's currently using it? How much room are you gonna have left for them to do activities in?
I talked to Dana about that this afternoon, or this morning when we met. And we anticipate, Dana told me that he has 14 or 15 4-H kids and 15 parents that come to his 4-H club. He said that we all figured out there's not gonna be room because we folded up the tables because I need shelves to display. But I talked to Jeannie, this room is free of charge. I explained that to Dana, and Dana said, well, Ross, we always call the fire department and someplace else and couldn't get it figured out. I said, Dana, Jeannie says you need to call the school and get on their schedule. The school, the activity center is also available and free for 4-H clubs to use.
Okay. Who's gonna do snow removal?
I would anticipate that once we get to the stage of budget setting up, that we would hire somebody to do it.
The same as lawn mowing?
Yes, I was told this morning that I do have to mow the lawn, but it hasn't been watered in many years. I don't think as much.
One of the problems we run into is all the junk piled up in front of the other building. We can't have that happen. People drop off stuff, it's gotta be cleaned up.
Which is fine. I do have, when we had our meeting, being a 501c3 under Badlands RC&D, we are required to have monthly meetings following parliamentary procedure. So after our organizational meeting on Monday, the people there elected Tana Ireland as president, Marlene Pishaw as vice president, Karen Coyle as treasurer, and I'm secretary. I am coordinator of the program since I did all the legwork. But we do have officers with the idea that if somebody should drop something off, we would come in and pick it up.
How about the money? Who's gonna be in charge of your money?
Badlands RC&D.
But I mean daily. You got kids there on Friday.
There will be adults with them. I mean, we're not just gonna give them the key and say, you have to train, Gary, you gotta train, so kids know what to do.
Oh, I know all about you.
Well, but this is it, what chance do Martin kids have to learn how to run a cash register and give the correct change?
Will you be turning off the heat? after turning off the power to them electric heaters?
Yes, oh, no, we're not gonna turn them off, we're turning them on. I wrote a
See, like,
facility agreement between the Legion and the REA, that Dana is my liaison, my Legion liaison. I gave it to him, we reviewed it today, we've added a couple things, but in there it says, we are responsible for all utilities.
electrical.
All utilities. And that's why I'm coming to you guys for the water, the sewer, and the garbage. I have the application for the REAs. I spoke to one of their board of directors and I said, oh, I'm coming to you guys to have you pay. This is a community project, to have you pay for the electricity. Oh, Roz, don't bother, because anybody, if we paid your electricity, everybody's gonna want us to pay theirs. But he said, Roz, we have a donation committee. You get on the donation committee. And that's what I'm doing to help cover the cost of the electricity.
Any other questions for us?
I just had a comment. If they drop off clothes, I know that Wild Tourist View, which would be really close to you, they do accept clothes.
Okay.
So you could tell them like, hey, if we have clothes donate.
Is that Charlie?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, they take clothes because of the women's shelter and stuff like
okay,
that.
all right.
So that would be just something to help you guys, because I know people.
I
Yeah.
used to bowl with Charlie once, so I know Charlie. We'll get that, we can work that out too. That's an excellent idea. Thanks, Warren.
Yeah.
Well, council, you guys talked about motions, so
I'll motion to approve what she wants. Essentially, give her water, sewer, and garbage for free.
motion by Tyler
I'll
to
second it.
approve water, sewer, and garbage for the new thrift store, second by Warren. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Any other motions?
I guess I would, if we were to donate anything else, what would you use it for?
What would we use it for? I would anticipate that we would use it for office products and shelves. I have been personally shopping on Facebook Marketplace and have gone to Rapid. I've purchased shelves. My husband is a wonderful farmerizer and has got them so they're stand up. I've spray painted, I've power washed, but we don't have near enough shelves. We don't, the floor is a cement that people have dropped paint or something. The floor looks terrible. To me, the floor is really bad. Other than that, at this point, Warren, I don't know what else. We're just getting started. I don't have a clue what our budget, our monthly budget would look like.
I would think that, like,
If we wait until the store's actually going, then make your motion.
okay.
That's not a bad idea. But I did work there with Roz for like a year, and
The
like
shelves
2
might
days a
be
week.
needed.
And they get so much donations, and they do a fair amount of business. I'm sure
And
it'll sustain itself.
And I worked there too, so I know. I would say 500 now just to help them get shelves, because if they don't have shelves, like all their opening up is gonna be a problem.
It's up to you guys.
Wait. Paul, is there any more of those metal Cozad shelves in the?
There's nothing in that
They're
building.
gone already?
Everything went to the courthouse. I don't know what they did with it, but
So Ross, how long do you think it will be before you're in a position to accept books?
One of the ladies that was at our organizational meeting on Monday came up to the library and picked up the children's books that were out there for free, and they're already in a bookcase down there. The other thing, I would like to invite any of you and all of you just to come and see what we're working with and how we really are here just to serve the kids in the community. Try to get your community to work together again. You have too many people with too many hard feelings. Let's get together. We can do it.
Doug?
Okay, once the police department is cleared out from the evidence room does have several wooden shelves in there. And I believe a couple of metal shelves as well.
What about the storage room in the back?
I don't know if how those shelves are attached, but
Yeah.
they may be able to be used. I know for sure the evidence room is gonna be cleared out. I don't know about the back of the storage room.
But do you know about how many shelves there would be?
I know there's 4 big ones in our evidence locker, and that was a metal shelf. I don't know if that's attached to the wall either from when it was a liquor store. So that's possibly a one shelf that can be given out as well.
Are your shelves so we can reach them on both sides? Yeah, that's what we need, because we anticipate putting a row down the middle. I've got shelves around the outside of the building, or the outside of the room, but I need some down the middle to hold what people will be donating.
Do you think 4 shelves would be enough?
I honestly don't know, without knowing the size of them.
Anything further for Roz?
I don't know if you guys want to donate some. I mean, we're at, we still have 78% remaining budget on operating transfer in from last year. 500 would not even put it like a percentage of that.
If you should donate, it will need to go to Badlands RC&D, because we are under them. The finances goes through Badlands RC&D. And then you just put a note on the bottom for the thrift store.
Seed money to help thrift stores open.
I mean,
I motion to donate 500 to help see that it gets open right.
I'll second that. I mean, I personally watch them every day. Every time kids came in there, handout books. Like, they made sure the kids left with books, with kids' books in hand every single time. I work it twice a week for the year.
Motion by Warren,
To donate 500 from the transfer in from last year.
Okay,
From the
so
general
that's
fund.
not really,
no.
From the general fund now. City improvement,
we
BBB,
do BB&B.
BB&B.
I'll second that.
Motion by Warren to donate $500 to RC&D for the thrift store. Second by Tyler. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Please be aware that even though we're a 501c3 operation, we are transparent. And if I can have your permission, I would like to come back monthly and explain the progress, maybe how much money we made, how many people have worked, or like I showed you, the form that was done by the judge. Is that permissible?
We should love it.
Okay, so I have one question about sales tax.
Okay, we cannot get sales tax until we get a name. The name will be next October 16th. The team will decide on the name.
Okay.
Then once we get the name, we can get a sales tax and a post office box.
Cool.
Thank you for everything. I sincerely appreciate it, everybody.
Okay, next on the agenda is law.
For the month of September, we had 9 arrests, 2 of those being misdemeanor warrants, 140 calls for service, and 57 traffic stops.
Any questions for Doug?
And I didn't ask for it, but I know sometimes it's on there. Is the executive session for personnel on there this time?
No.
No? Okay.
Doesn't have to be, you can go into executive session under law without executive session being on the agenda.
Okay, can I go into executive session under personnel?
Who all do you want in here?
Just the board, I guess, and the attorney.
Okay.
We need to make a motion.
Make the motion.
What is it?
I'll motion to go with the other one by law.
CCL 1-25-2.1. 2.1 and 1? Yeah, 2.1 is personnel.
Yes.
Yep, 2.1.
Second.
You need to take the camera.
You're in?
Yeah, we're in executive
You're in?
session. out of executive session with no action taken. Next on the agenda is supplemental budget ordinance, first reading. You guys spent way too much money,
Wait,
way too much.
I'm sorry, if I can just go back for 1 second
Sure.
on law. For the November meeting, would you guys like me to still come in and present the October numbers?
sure.
Gloria said sure.
Okay.
You can come back too.
What day is that of the week is that?
It's the 13th.
I will actually not be here, so
You won't be here.
I can maybe get one of the other deputies
Well-
to do it.
The other party is supposed to be here and do some reporting. Maybe Mr. Curtis can fill us in.
I'll be here. I don't know where Jason's at. I'm assuming he had something going on tonight. But yeah, I'll be here that meeting.
All right. Back to the budget, supplemental budget ordinance.
Well, we're gonna make money on snow, and we haven't had any of that yet. It was the repairs that got us. Yeah.
And a new Bobcat. And
Marcota, swimming
About-
pool.
I thought we, the last was a fully money on that podcast.
No, that's on the generator.
Oh, the generator now.
That still has to go into the budget, though, because it wasn't.
do you guys want me to read through this budget out loud?
I mean,
We got another 15 minutes, I'll read through it.
Yeah, I'll take that.
All right, so ordinance number 260, supplemental appropriation ordinance for the city of Martin, South Dakota for the fiscal year of 2024. Whereas in the 2024 appropriation ordinance 251, there was not sufficient appropriation to conduct the indispensable functions of the government in certain of the city departments. And there was insufficient money appropriated to discharge certain duties of the city. And whereas there is sufficient money from various sources for this supplemental budget, section 1, that there is appropriated by the city council of the city of Martin, South Dakota for the balance of fiscal year 2024. The following sums of money for the following purposes which are deemed necessary to defray the lawful duties of the city of Martin for the balance of the year 2024. General fund, fire, $30,000. General fund, attorney, $20,000. General fund, airport, $80,000. General fund, snow, $27,000. General fund, streets, $35,880. General fund, buildings, $36,000. General fund, senior citizen meals on wheels, $5,000. General fund, parks, $13,000. Marcota fund, BBB, $25,000. Marcota fund, Marcota, $5,000. Marcota fund, pool, $33,000. Marcota fund, golf, $5,000. Sewer fund, $6,300. Sanitation fund, $15,300. Section 2, that there is hereby authorized to be generated from various organizations and other revenue sources and transferred from various city departments which have excess appropriation. The amounts is set out below. BBB tax, $25,000. Sales tax, $47,000. City improvement savings, $59,000. Capital project savings, $32,000. Liquor fund, $55,000. Grant, $83,280. Interest income, general fund, $13,705. SLRFR COVID funds, $15,195. Sewer fund revenues, $6,300. Section 3, that this ordinance shall be enforced from and after its passage and publication is required by law, dated this 13th day of November 2024.
Approve the first reading.
I'll move.
Motion by Larry to approve the first reading of the supplemental ordinance budget number 260.
Second.
Second by Warren. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next on the agenda is Souls.
She's just behind
Again,
on pages. A lot. So I don't know what you guys wanna do. Will she come into that? She knows. I told her grandfather. I have no idea. Hasn't made a payment since June.
I know his waiter cook's been in winter for
Oh,
a while, but he's out now.
What is the thing? Not the thing.
Just their electric and liquor. I should think just, but it has accumulated.
What are her extensions? She hasn't said.
We probably can't afford to lock the doors.
We require her to come to the next meeting.
No, you should maybe attempt to call her in, I've tried. I've gone out there and told her to come in. Best luck I have is getting hold of Butch. Well, it was worth some money.
Who's on the Souls Committee? I thought of it.
I gotta get the dog food loose because this thing has to stick.
I'll be 100% honest, it's not doing, the restaurant industry is not doing too great. I had to put my revenue payments for the last few months on credit card. Because I couldn't put the payment myself in the pizza shop.
I'll
Just
be
being
honest.
honest.
It hasn't been great, guys, in the restaurant industry amongst the of us, but we all still got to pay our bills too, right? Who's on there?
Larry and Warren.
Larry and
There he goes. Welcome to the city council.
What do you want me to do? Leaving?
Well, I can go tell her to pay her bills, but like Gene's tried and to no avail.
I think before we do anything, we should request her presence.
Yeah,
I know she's had a good summer.
Huh?
She's had a good summer.
with all the golfers and everything, it's been,
A lot of golf tournaments.
yeah. And it's cost me a lot of money out there.
She did put out a new menu. We ate out there last week and she has a new menu and she has increased her prices substantial, so obviously she's trying to get more money.
Well, let's request her to come to the next meeting. And if she doesn't, then what?
Let's wait.
Send the committee there. I don't know. Let's see. That's kind of what. Let's cross that bridge when we get there.
I don't know what her business is like, but I know that my business in particular, after Halloween, it's gonna take nosedive until probably about February. So,
He's not wrong. It does really slow down the winter time. Do you have, does Larry have a file on it?
yeah, he's looking the file over.
Shouldn't let this go this far.
We've been down this road before.
But we do have, if they put some water equipment in there, we do have that fall back on.
I don't recall this being more than it was last time though. Whenever I first got on city council, that was an issue whenever I first had gotten on city council. I remember, and I don't think it's as much as it was then, but it probably will get back to that point, whenever, because what was I, March or April, whenever I first got on, it'll probably be that much by April. And she did get caught up, and then she got, at some point, no, she never got caught up, she's always been behind.
Once you get behind, it's really hard.
Yeah,
We already try every month, but just to not do anything.
yeah.
All right, so we'll press that she's going. I guess that she goes.
All right, so we can move on.
Motion that she request that she comes to that.
Motion by Warren to have Samantha come to our next meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tootie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next on the agenda is poultry. I've been told that there are chickens, turkeys, geese in our city limits.
Oh, yeah, I hear the roosters crow every morning when I'm walking.
Hear that?
That's outside of city limits. Those are outside the city limits technically. That's O'Brien's.
That's what they're arguing about. If our ordinance was out a mile,
You don't know what I said.
it's time for noodles.
We're city limits.
City limits is that gravel road, so the O'Brien's are just right outside the city, technically speaking.
Well, there's a lot of chickens in town inside city limits. A lot. Guineas.
Guineas too.
Yeah, I mean, you drive around and actually look, there's
Well, they're
poultry all over in town.
right behind, yeah, right there.
Isn't,
This has been brought up before to this council. And we have an ordinance on chickens.
Says no farm animals in the city limit.
technically roosters aren't farm animals.
Yes.
Yeah, it says no ducks, no chickens, or other domestic fowl, except on properties owned for agriculture.
We don't have zoning, so.
So like Paul, you drive around, you see him, could you write her name down and give it to Jean? And she can send them.
Where the law enforcement can do that, I mean, it's against ordinance, isn't it?
I mean, what do we need, like,
I mean, I know I've had tons of people tell me that they want people to have chicken too within the city limit, of which the city ordinance would change.
and they could technically do an initiated measure. If there's that many people that have chickens, they can make an initiated measure and change our ordinance to an initiated measure. And I think it'll only take like 10 people to make an initiated measure.
I don't think we need to change our ordinances. I think the ordinances should be enforced that are there. I think poultry belong on farms, not in city limits.
So right now it is illegal, it's under 2-4-1, we've got it in our kind of bond schedule, meaning it's ticketable, it's a $60 fine plus $60 court cost, so it's a $120 fine. It is the trend for people to want sustainable living, right, farm to table stuff, so it's the trend for people to want to have chickens in their backyard to lay eggs, that's a popular thing. After that will come bees, people who want to raise their own honey. It'll keep coming, I see it all over.
Go buy a bag of feed. Costs way more than a dozen eggs.
But it's gonna be quite a health issue also.
It smells really
I'm
bad.
pretty sure that's why it was put in the ordinance. It's
Yeah.
a health issue.
I mean,
I thought it was
So-
put into an issue because somebody put a buffalo inside the city.
A buff,
That's what I was told. That somebody
That did happen.
a buffalo?
That's what
Yes.
caused the city ordinance was because somebody brought a buffalo.
I think it was in there before.
With that, yeah.
It's been in place since 1986. Some revisions, including in 1995.
That's
Down
what
there
I
on
was
Larry
told.
Ellis.
Oh, that wasn't in the city limits, so.
That is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Where this was, it was.
No, it was.
It was just a calf.
They had it by the house.
I mean,
Yeah,
technically
buffalo
speaking,
calf too.
the economic decline's worse than the Great Depression right now. People had chickens during the Great Depression. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
a lot
I'm not,
is the trend. She's not wrong. A lot of people under 40 are interested in that. I get kind of a lot. go chicken, I mean, you either get the ticket, you pay the ticket, and you keep getting ticketed, or you get rid of your chickens, or, you know, like you try to change the law. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what we're discussing, like, it's against the ordinances, so they should be ticketed, it just is the law. When it comes down to it, if the public would like to change the law, there's lots of rules, there's lots of ways to go about that. Just going out and buying some chickens, though, isn't.
Yeah.
So,
So do you wanna authorize the law to write warning tickets first time, or do you wanna write them
No,
the
just,
ticket?
Well, some of them probably don't know.
Right.
how about we put
There's
it in
no-
the paper?
Just a reminder about,
And last
City
time,
ordinance
when we
20.
sent out a letter
Sure,
on the dogs and cats,
yeah,
you should have been here in the office, cause then everybody was upset, well, you know. We sent it to everybody. Well, you're doing it to me. I know you're doing it to me. And it's like, no, we sent the letter to everybody.
so,
put it in the paper.
So if we know who they are, we can send them a letter and tell them.
you wanna send a letter to them and not do it in the paper, cause I mean.
And then if they still have them, send the cops on.
Sure,
I mean, there could be more people that move to town, I see there's houses getting sold by, and people are coming into town that are new to town, and they could potentially think that it's okay. Maybe it'd be better to put, ordinance 2-4-1 inside the newspaper. Just because then people would have a general knowledge of it, and then if they do wanna complain about it, it's in the newspaper, and if there's a huge public outcry and people want chickens, then maybe we need to figure out how to make chickens not a nuisance in town, or whatever, you know, I don't have all the answers, but we are, you know,
That's what I mean.
Oh,
Yeah,
public
St. Catherine's
officials, the
Episcopal
whole
Church.
town has to kind of agree upon things
There's a trend. Yeah.
too, I mean,
When was
I don't know,
so I motion to put it in the paper.
we better do Facebook.
the
just south of.
2-4-1, ordinance 2-4-1.
Ordinance 2-4-1 in
And
the
then you
paper.
go right south of the.
Motion,
Let's wait till they're done
That's
talking.
the Priest or whatever, across the street, I think, is where that is.
are you guys done yet? Motion
I'm
by,
trying to figure out where these chickens are.
They're all over.
motion by Tyler to put ordinance 2-4-1 in the newspaper.
Facebook or
And,
our website.
and send letters or no?
Let's, you know, do it.
It's very expensive to send everybody a letter.
Oh,
So
okay.
you have to send postage.
Let's just put it in the paper, see how it goes.
And Facebook.
How expensive is it to just, you know,
Don't
put
we
a
have a
sticker on your
Facebook?
door? Cause I've gotten stickers on my door for not paying water bill. Is that expensive?
But like I said, if we knew who they are, we could send them a letter. I mean,
Call somebody, you know, through that.
If we know who had the chickens and turkey and goose,
I got pictures of.
I know, we could send them a letter, because there's what, a dozen, Paul?
Probably not quite that many,
Okay,
but
council, it's up to you. If you want to just,
Well, I think we should send letters first.
there's a motion on the floor.
I know,
There's a motion, I was second. Did you second that? No, I second it.
second, Warren's motion to put ordinance 2-4-1 in the newspaper. All those in favor signify by saying
Who
aye.
seconded it?
I just did.
You
I
did
You
that?
motioned that, and I just seconded it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Any further discussion on chickens? Okay,
That's
moving on.
chickens roost.
School water
No,
line.
it's not.
Paul,
So-
you have-
there's an issue up there where the school's trying to tie on that fire hydrant line. Through this whole project, we've been telling them that that water main going across there by that propane tank isn't very deep. It's like 4 foot deep is all. Well, they're at a 6 foot coming across where they're gonna pour that parking lot, and it's not gonna tie up right. So the school, instead of them, they wanna come up with a 45 and another 45 and do a tapping saddle and a valve there. Well, that water's gonna be stagnant. It's not gonna move. It's just for a fire hydrant. There's nothing tapped off it or anything. So to me, that's a freeze point. They said they'll insulate it and stuff. The school wants to do a couple 45s out, go around that propane tank to come back to where it's 6 foot deep 45, start coming out around that propane tank and then cut back in where it's 6 foot deep again. They'll pay for all the materials if we'll do the work, and they'll help too, do labor.
They're gonna buy a gate valve or something there so you can shut it off when it does freeze?
If they choose to hook up with the 45s to come up to the main like they want to, yep, I'm gonna make them install two valves so we can isolate our part if it happens.
That's what I want.
If they don't do that, the school will pay the school is responsible for it regardless. But if they want to go out with about 300 foot of pipe around that propane tank because they're afraid if it ever breaks, by the time you go to shut it off, it's going to erode by that propane tank. I mean, they're going to have a serious issue then.
Then they have a missile down Main Street.
Exactly. So they want to go around it, and then everything will tie up how it should. But that'd be us digging it, and they would pay. It's about $18,000 roughly, give or take a little bit. They would pay all the materials if we would just dig it and provide the digging and the labor.
Have you got the labor and man hours, time to do it?
I mean, we've got other stuff we need to do, but it's really not our problem, but it could become our problem. So, I mean,
Is the public opposed to that? To helping? No? I think we should actually let that. Do the better option and keep the water line away from the propane tank. So,
Paul, do you think it's a good idea?
to me, it don't make any difference. If they want to hook up to it coming up shallow, I'm going to make it so it doesn't affect us, that if it does, then we can isolate our part. So it's not,
Where's the fire hydrant gonna be?
it's already in, so it's on the front of the building, on the gym side. If you come in there, like the kids drop off in front of the new building when we were there,
Yeah,
there's a fire hydrant there, and that stubs all the way down that alley between the shop and the new building when we were there, and comes clear across there. They put that all in last summer.
but we're actually losing the fire hydrant that was on the west side then.
No,
The one on the
No.
corner right here, that's still there, isn't it?
yep,
Okay.
yeah, all that's tied off at different. It's just gonna be timing, because if we do it with this 45, we gotta go down to where they're tied off on a Friday, shut the main off, put a valve in so we can keep the school fed while we work on that. So it's just not on Fridays. So once we get that valve put in, then we could start doing it Monday through Friday.
So they're gonna pay for all the materials and they're gonna pay you too?
Well, I don't think, we're not out to really make money off of it, are we?
No, but you should do cost that,
What cost though?
labor,
Well, if that's what you want, then that's what you need to tell them.
I don't know, I was just thought.
In our, where we have our equipment stuff, we can do work it says for the county and for the schools for whatever. We don't have to charge them.
How long will it take?
Depends if something else was going on in town, we had to go do it before we could work on that. I'm figuring maybe a week, 2 weeks. The longest part's gonna be the digging with a backhoe. If you had an excavator or something, it'd be quicker, but we own our backhoe.
is it less of a freeze hazard if they do that, the longer extended thing too?
Oh yeah, because then you're going to 6 foot deep instead of 3.5, 4 foot.
I think that it sounds like a good idea to just let them do that and then let the school pay for the materials. Personally,
Do you want a motion on that?
a motion to allow the line to be put in the proper way. And essentially donate our city guys labor for that, and then the city pay for the materials to do it right.
I'll second.
Second by Tyler. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Utility billing and website.
Okay, so I looked into other companies. Where the ski works, they're the ones that have bought out the company we're with now. So their quote was $5,250. That includes our utility billing, software, the website, and what they call the front desk, active public users. And I called a couple other ones, and the utility billing software for this one company was more expensive than this, and then the website from the other company that I talked to was gonna be more than what they're charging us, so I guess I recommend that we go with G-Works and get,
They're the cheapest.
I would say they're the cheapest, but they have all our information, and it'd be easiest
When did we were supposed to have this done?
by the end of the year. They're one.
I haven't even had a chance to review those websites and that, and listen to the things on there and that. And personally, I'd like to hold off on it yet, till maybe the November meeting at least, so I got more time to watch that.
Okay, it's just
That's
that
all right.
they're pushing, because they're powering down the one that we have at the end of the year. So it'll take them a month or more to get our stuff transferred over and up and running.
Jean, if you do change, is it possible to get your consider sign attached to that?
Yeah, I mean, I could do it now, battle link.
So we're in kind of a time.
We're in a time crunch now, yeah. Because as of the end of the year, it won't work, our software won't work.
And if it takes time to change, then we don't want to be out of having the software.
I mean, we can, and if it's like really bad or something, we could go find another one, but.
Well, you said it would cost more money.
Yeah, if they're separate, like this company does the software, this company does webpage.
So you're saying that the software was more expensive and then the website was more expensive, so it'd be almost like doubling or tripling or something?
I wouldn't say tripling, it's just more expensive than what they quoted us for.
Hours for all of those, you know, like that.
This is just a.
Or what happens if the website lapse? Is that how big a problem is that?
That's okay, if you have a website, you just have to keep it updated, you have to put your agenda on there and stuff, but if you don't have to have a website.
Oh,
Do you want to table this till the next meeting, or what do you want to do, council?
I personally feel like approving it, and I know Randy wants to table it, so anybody else have anything else?
I kind of agree with you on it. And then Jim's done the research.
Like most of the companies out there, they're gonna be probably around the same price. These
almost.
guys were 3,000 for utility billing, and then the other one was 3,500 for the utility. They base it on your population accounts.
I'll motion to accept G-Works regarding the website.
I'll second it.
Motion by Tyler to accept G-Works, second by Warren. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next on the agenda, live stream meetings.
I left this from last month,
Yeah.
see if you guys had anything you wanted to add.
So,
No,
I talked with Frank, and Frank wants to know exactly what do we fully want from him, because he already has a quote ready for for a camera. But he's wondering if we want like a laptop for it to be connected to it so it can live stream to Facebook, like we had talked about. And if we want a PA system with microphones and stuff like that, do we want that? And that, like, I wasn't 100% certain on if we wanted the PA system or not. I
So
know that
everybody
he said-
here in the lobby,
Yes, everybody can hear.
in the audience, I guess, not really the lobby.
I mean, we'd have to shut it off, obviously, whenever we go into executive session, so that it's not moving out there. Or I guess kick everybody further out, but, yeah, that was kind of the thing, is he wanted to know if we want a full-on PA system, if we want a laptop or a desktop that's in here, because I know you guys already have that one laptop, but if we wanted to upgrade a laptop or anything like that too.
What I would tell you is the mics are far more important than the visual. So people, including me, to zoom in, I don't care what I see of y'all, I really need to hear you. And the same with want to hear you. So that's the most important part. The visual is secondary. So let's see, if you're doing it, get the mics and get them where you can put them around the room, because that's what these cities will do. They'll have maybe 3 at the dais and then a couple out in the audience. And so then everybody who's listening online can actually hear what's going on.
I think what we had initially told them was 12 because of the school board for their have a public comment mic and then have a mic for each individual person is what I had told him initially, but I didn't get to bring it before anybody else, I guess. So that was another part of it. Yeah, how many mics do we want to have? I kind of said it to the school board, and they sound like they want to live stream their meetings as well.
Well, would they go in on the equipment?
I didn't ask them that because they were kind of, the superintendent was gone, so I didn't get to talk to her, but I talked to a couple of school board members and other faculty that are always part of the school board meetings, and they had said that the whole school board seemed like they wanted to do their meetings, but I don't know if they would, I would assume that they'd be willing to split the bill on it. But do we want to do full PA system, mics all the way around, 12 mics, and the camera and the laptop that it can connect to so that everything works, so that I can get the full quote from Frank?
Why don't you get the full quote and then we can scratch stuff off?
Okay. All right. All right, I'll work on
We
that.
gotta have a starting point somewhere.
Yeah, his starting point was just the camera, but I'll let him know that we're interested in that.
Sarah says the mics.
Yeah, the mics are the most important.
That's next on the agenda. Audio.
Well, it's kind of both the same thing, but
Yeah. Yep.
So, get a full quote from Frank,
Right.
and we'll go from there.
Right,
Sounds good.
okay. You want to
Frank
make a motion?
Gazon. His name's Frank Gazon. He used to be the Legion baseball coach from like 2014 to like 2017. He's a IT guy. Just transparency, I mean.
he wasn't the coach here,
Yeah, he was.
was he?
Yep, he was the coach for the Legion baseball team from like 2014
I'll
to
make a motion
2016.
to get a quote from Frank for our audio and our, be able to live stream meetings, and then we'll meet next time to approve it. Sound good? Next meeting?
Or go through it.
Go through it.
I'll go through it to, see what we're gonna do with it.
And I'll try and talk to the superintendent too and see if they're willing to split the bill.
Motion by Tyler to check into this. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Martin. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next on the agenda is audio for meetings.
We already did it.
Okay,
Technically part of that last thing.
next on the agenda is a building permit. We received one for a deck.
That was Sarah's focus, wasn't it?
Yeah. Michelle's old gray house down there.
And Nicole Novak had called about moving the trailer into town, and then she called and said she didn't want to be on the agenda anymore, so.
I talked to the mother and I told her it had to be newer than 10 years. Talked to Jean and Jean said it's 20 years. But it's a 1974 trailer, so.
50 years.
It's like
Technically,
46 years
50
old.
years old.
Technically speaking, I just found out recently that if it's older than 1985, it's considered worthless. By appraising will appraise anything older than 1985 as worthless. This FYI for everybody out there.
Well, I think it was the tornado out there too, so.
Okay, next on the agenda.
We needed a motion.
Oh,
we
motion
got
to
Sarah
approve this one.
Clifford's. I make the motion to approve Sarah Clifford's building permit contents.
Motion.
Deck, excuse me.
Motion by Gloria to approve Sarah Clifford's building permit. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Tyler. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Past due water bills, council.
I motion to handle the water bills as usual.
Motion by Warren to handle the past due delinquent water bills as usual. Is there a second or discussion?
Second.
Second by Tyler. All signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next on the agenda, code enforcement. No, I just signed a check for him.
I'm still waiting on that for him to come to a meeting.
I know, I tried to catch him last time he was in town, because I was gonna drive him around to every one of you guys, so you knew who he's talking about.
Yep, and he never showed.
He never showed, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
I think we should.
I did sign him up on,
Like, we need to talk
Your way.
about,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here wondering why we're paying him this money and that, and he doesn't even take the time to come introduce himself.
yeah. I would-
And I'm seeing a lot of instances where some people appear to be getting picked on, and a lot of people are
he's got a
just
list of places that he wants cited, but he can't get them cited. So he doesn't know what's the
Where
next
he's
step.
at.
But he also doesn't talk to any of us. I mean, I haven't called him personally either, but he was supposed to come with
Gary.
Gary.
Well,
And
the day he
he
showed
didn't.
up, Barry was out of town. Was he gone that day?
No,
No,
he
he
was
didn't.
Thursday.
We was all waiting.
We were waiting for
We was
it.
waiting.
Yeah.
So I think we should tell him via
You guys
email.
want I got his phone number. If you guys want to talk to him, he'll probably be more than happy to stop and see you.
I've spoken to him several times,
Mhm.
asking for a more detailed reasoning of why these people want to be cited, so that I have some sort of leg to stand on when I go to cite these people.
He's
And,
got the fine and bond schedule
and
there.
pretty much all he tells me is for the international code. And I know that is a fine on there, but if I could be more directed with what exactly I'm fining them for, it makes it easier for the city attorney to be able to prosecute that if it ever goes to court.
Because isn't it his job to know what ordinances are the problem? Not, oh, it's just the city code.
No, you don't wanna pay him to read through all this and figure out, he does this for 100 different communities. So he could just indicate facts, there's a junk car, and then.
Yeah, I mean, but when I get the list, all it says is junk car. It doesn't say what about it is junk. Is it just the tags are out? Is it's because it's uncovered? Is it, I mean, there's several different things that could fit under junk car when it comes to this fine and bond schedule of the city ordinances.
Yeah, so he does then need to beat that up, because then between the chief and I, we can figure out the proper citation of some individual things.
And again, I've asked him several times for more details, and
I've got files here with pictures of it.
Yeah. You pull up and look at the cars, got 4 flat tires, the windows are broken, no tags.
Or there's junk just laying everywhere. I mean,
So, Sarah, is what you're saying then, if he's not supposed to know all the ordinances in detail?
No,
He's not necessarily supposed to be up on knowing that turkey ain't supposed to be walking around town in the city limits?
no, so he does building inspection, so he's very up to speed on international building code, what's allowed there and what's not. And, if it's a junk car, and say it's an inoperable car, that's all he needs to tell us, because then we can write a ticket under the proper code.
So code enforcement only applies to building code?
Yes. It doesn't do dogs.
doesn't do dogs, doesn't do yards, doesn't.
Criminal ordinance.
He can't write tickets, he can write tickets.
Well, I know that.
So what about weeds?
What about what?
Weeds.
Weeds?
Weeds. Write them down, give them to Gene.
So Gene gets the weed.
So they send out letters.
Yeah.
Whether most of the time they don't do anything, so they have to send the guys into weeding. So,
Have to be nice.
We've got a couple just around our house that have not mowed this summer.
I don't.
Come to
That I
mine
can
in
see.
town.
I would say that he probably needs to make an effort whenever he's in town to try
The
and.
next time he comes,
So I gotta elaborate a little bit more. So as far as this junk car goes or whatever, that doesn't have anything to do with building code.
Property maintenance code. He's got building code and property maintenance code. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a lot of those kind of issues around also in that have not been addressed. And so how often does this guy even get here?
About once a month.
You could tell him however often want him to go, but how we did the original contract was we placed a ceiling on the amount of money he could charge, so he has to spend the amount of time he
They're
takes
in-
over.
Yeah, therein lies the problem with all this, is that inherently picks on a few on that, and when his quota is supposedly filled, then the rest of the people in that are left free and clear.
Oh, no,
There's a wrong with
Now
that.
he goes all the way through
drive
town.
every alley, every yard, he can only do things from the alleys or the roads.
But I'm not understanding that then, it sounded like that there was only enough money or whatever available to
Well, we
process so
pay
many.
him a retainer at the beginning of the year, it's like $1,500,
1,500.
and then when he goes over that, we pay him.
Yeah, I just wrote him
Okay.
a $900 check.
Okay.
So that's, when he comes in, he's over his retainer, then we pay him.
You don't really want to demand that he come to your city council meeting, because he's got a schedule, he goes all over the state. You want to meet when he's going to be in town.
Usually, he catches us on the way through to Phillip or Kadoka or Hot Springs and tries not to raise our rates up with motel rooms and eats and everything else.
So when we know he's coming, we can let you all know.
Yeah,
It'll be
Well, I usually don't, he doesn't let me know, I see him, he walks in the door, and that's how I know when he's coming. But then he doesn't need to let me know, comes, he does his thing on his schedule.
Just ask him, just say, hey, next
Yeah.
time, when are you coming next?
yeah.
We've got council people want to meet, just ask.
And I've got a whole cabinet
Oh, yeah.
full of files full of pictures of everybody's stuff. So if you wanna know what's wrong with the property, or if you have a property you don't think is there, it's there.
And then how do we move forward with this next month, November? Like, we can, the sheriff's gonna have to do this.
Well, they'll-
Yeah.
He's got a list.
I mean, I think I've gotten one list this year, maybe two, from Joel. So it's hard to also know what needs to be cited, and there's a lot of stuff on there that says, cite after this date, and I don't ever know if those get fixed or not. And especially if I don't know, based off that list, also says junk. If I go by the house, I don't know what he's exactly talking about when he says junk.
Does he know that we're in, does the code enforcement officer know that we come back and enforcement, or not come back and
Yeah,
contract it?
he does.
Okay. That's just my question, I guess.
So, the next time he's in town, you want to meet?
I guess I have a question. So if Joel comes in and it's just building code, and he saw chickens, would you write a violation for chickens? I was just curious.
No,
So he doesn't write tickets.
Not write
He can
tickets,
get
but would
warning letters.
he be like, hey, these people have chickens, it's an ordinance
You
violation?
can't, any of you can tell law enforcement, someone says I have complaints, right?
Okay. I was-
Chief can just do that himself. But his job is to document it, so I have to actually prosecute a city ticket, because they won't just plead guilty to it, pay it, or just clean it up in response to a warning letter. I've got a witness, that Joel saw it on a certain date, so I can prove that it was out of compliance on that date, issue ticket, I got the proof, and I've got photographs.
Okay.
Of course, the whole goal is for him to write letters and say, you need to fix this, 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 and this, please do it within 30 days of the state, because you want to give people an opportunity to clean up their own property.
Randy. That's where we're sitting now with code enforcement. Okay, anything else on code enforcement, council? If not, we're gonna go to complaints. Anybody have any complaint? Mr. Fox?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. How are you tonight?
Well,
Hey, is there, the discussion is doing a lot about ordinances and lack of enforceability of ordinances. Nothing's being done with jake breaks. I keep hearing jake breaks. This evening, I have been educated on loose turkeys in my life. We get turkeys on the loose. There's chickens on the prowl, and I'm not making fun of people If you're not gonna enforce an ordinance, why have an ordinance? If you're gonna have a budget ordinance, it would seem to me you want to enforce all your ordinances. So what's gonna be done? And that, I think you can quickly dodge that one and hand it off to your 6 smiley faces.
I'm going to.
Thank you.
Law enforcement?
So,
Yeah.
so I guess I was unaware there was any chickens or other poultry in town until tonight. You know, as far as Jake breaks, my honest opinion, Jake breaks are a safety feature on those trucks. And I live right on the highway coming into town. So, I mean, I have just as much right as everybody else to complain about Jake breaks. But like I said, it's my opinion, they're a safety feature. You know, it's been said more than once that a Jake break on a truck is a lot quieter than a truck in your living room. So that's my opinion on that. You know, all the city ordinances are now into our e-ticketing system. That took me several days to go through them all, get them all put in there. I do have to get with Sarah, got a question about 2 or 3 of them I have to ask you. I'll ask you after the meeting now. But they're in there, I guess. You just, you know, gotta let us know what the issues are, which ones need to be addressed. And it just comes down to communication.
I'll put that new speed sign up, east of town.
Yep, right by the fairgrounds. I saw that within the last couple days.
I think the Jake break issue is probably from that going south of town, probably. I mean, it's a hill and then you come in and you're like, oh, you gotta slow down, and that's gonna go Jake break.
That's what we did in sign down south.
Yeah, that probably helped more than,
There is a sign.
No, I mean, almost 35 miles an hour.
Yeah, the state did come in a few years ago and finally at least update the speed limit south of town. Because for quite a while there, it went from 65 down to 35 and over a blind hill to go up the stoplight. So that's at least fixed at a 45
I
mile
want
an
to here
hour.
to change that and put a 45 down by,
Yeah, the 45 is out by Auto Parts now, just
Yeah.
to the south of Auto Parts.
because the state said they have to have so much room,
Yeah.
so that's where it went.
I do know we've written tickets for Jake break violations. I only see the ones that are contested, and I saw a number of them that were contested, so I see there's one that have been written.
Yeah, we got a few complaints. I got a few complaints on Jake.
So I'm already detecting a new operation at law here in town. That is, if we can find an excuse, we're not going to enforce a valid ordinance. When I was just a young fellow, I can remember that far back now. They didn't used to have a Jake brake, but trucks used to have a transmission that you could slow down without a Jake brake and without an injury to anyone, or without a truck in your living room or your basement or whatever you want. Probably the only defect in the ordinance is it needs to be properly named. A dynamic engine brake is what it is, it's not a Jake brake. But if we're gonna find an excuse that we're not gonna enforce Jake brakes, well, let's find an excuse that turkeys are pretty. We don't need to enforce a turkey ordinance or a ducks quack. Maybe people like to hear quacking ducks, we don't. What is this city going to do with respect to ordinances? Are they gonna have ordinances, or are they gonna invalidate them all, including budget ordinances?
Well, we can get rid of the Jake break ordinance.
You can get rid of all your ordinances.
No, just that one.
Get rid of it then. Get rid of it. Put it on your next agenda and get rid of it.
And then, will you have a complaint then? Because there'll be Jake breaks all the time. We did get the trucker north of town, so he doesn't use his coming in. But it's most of these out of town interstate truckers coming from I-80 up to I-90 and a little town of Martin, South Dakota, over a hill. They're gonna shut the gas off.
There's a lot of towns like that around here, in this heartland, as they call it.
I don't know what to tell you about.
If you don't want to enforce an ordinance, get rid of it. It's simple. And as the gentleman offered earlier, let the people put it on the ballot. And then you're right back in the same position. You're going in circles, you're finding excuses, what do you want to do? Thank you.
Any further complaints come before the council? If not,
Can I say something on, I think we need to enforce the law.
okay,
We have issued several tickets this year over jake breaks. Like,
What side
obviously,
of town? South?
south, west, east. We've issued a number of them. Obviously, it's hard to get to every single one of them.
Yep.
Even noticing, okay, which truck it was when 3 or 4 come to town at the same time.
I guess whenever we have 24-hour law enforcement, the sheriff and the deputies will be able to have better getting a hold of that in the middle of the night, because I feel like the dynamic engine braking would be probably worse, more of a nuisance in the middle of the night. So I guess probably publicly would say that it is good to enforce that ordinance at the public meeting, to say that.
Also, people in speed.
And I can honestly say that I probably get woke up every night. Every night.
So,
And I don't think there's people around that enforce it.
Just, you gotta enforce it.
okay.
I move we adjourn.
Motion by Larry to adjourn this meeting. Is there a second?
I second. I'll let Ty know.
I'll second.
Second by Tyler. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We want to make sure we have a vote on
I don't, you will need it. I'll use it if I am.
They're gonna have.
I would say something.
Have funds. For that.